Seriously, I want you to think about this for a second. Have you ever slept a full 8 hours, woken up, stretched, and immediately thought to yourself, wow, I'm still exhausted? You did exactly what the doctors say to do. You got the right amount of sleep, but the energy, it just isn't there. Why is that? Okay, let's dive into this. We really have to separate two very different concepts here: physical rest versus mental rest. You see, researchers have noticed a pretty strange pattern. A woman can get 7 to 8 hours of solid physical rest, yet wake up completely drained. Meanwhile, many men with that exact same sleep duration wake up feeling completely refreshed. So, the real mystery we are solving today is not about sleep duration at all. It's about why the female brain often remains exhausted even after a full night of physical rest. To really understand this, picture a hardworking woman who recognizes she's burning out. So she does something completely rational. She takes an entire day off. She clears her schedule, no office, no meetings, absolutely no household chores. She completely isolates herself from her daily duties to finally get some genuine, much-needed rest. She even manages to sleep for over 9 hours. 9 whole hours! But here is the wild twist in the story. By nighttime, she still felt incredibly drained. When she sat down and really reflected on her relaxing day, she realized something highly surprising. Her physical body was resting on the couch or in bed, sure, but her mind, it never actually switched off, not even for a single moment. The real culprit behind her exhaustion is her invisible responsibilities. Her brain wasn't resting at all. It was constantly managing this huge hidden workload. It was planning tomorrow's meals, remembering upcoming schedules, silently processing the complex emotions of her family members, managing background work pressure, and anticipating dozens of future outcomes. For many women, the brain is actively working even when the body is perfectly still. Think of the mind literally like a computer browser with dozens of tabs running all at once. Even if you aren't actively looking at a specific tab, it's still eating up your computer's memory in the background, right? Because of this, sleep becomes less about taking a pleasant rest and much more about desperately trying to recover from nonstop, heavy mental processing. Section 1, the cost of emotional clarity. This leads us to a phenomenon we can call the replayed conversation. The female brain is highly involved in emotional processing. And this means emotions are not just felt and then quickly discarded, they are deeply analyzed and systematically stored. Think about a time when a simple, seemingly small comment from a colleague or a friend just stayed in your mind for hours, or maybe even days. You might find yourself repeating questions in your head like, wait, did I say the wrong thing? What did they actually mean by that tone? Now, this isn't just random, pointless overthinking. Your brain is performing a very specific function here. It's actively seeking emotional clarity so it can feel safe again in its social environment. But this vital safety check consumes a massive amount of mental energy, even while you are supposedly resting. Psychologists actually have a term for this: internal processing. Studies have observed people placed in totally quiet environments with no phones and absolutely no tasks. Instead of finding a silent, calm mind, their brains naturally shift into high gear, reviewing the past, planning the future, and analyzing emotions. And because of higher emotional awareness and deeply ingrained multitasking habits, this internal processing is significantly stronger in women. Section 2, hormones and sleep quality. A woman's life is categorized by major shifting hormonal stages: the menstrual cycle, pregnancy, menopause. Each of these stages drastically changes the brain's chemistry. And here is exactly why that matters for our explainer today. These shifting hormones directly dictate the quality of your deep sleep cycles. Your brain's ability to chemically restore its energy is constantly a moving target. And this brilliantly illustrates the core problem with just counting the hours you sleep. Two people can get the exact same hours of sleep. They both hit the pillow at 10 p.m., they both wake up at 6 a.m., but they experience a completely different depth of recovery. For women, true energy restoration depends heavily on their current hormonal balance, which means duration absolutely does not guarantee recovery. Section 3, the pre-sleep problem solver. Let's look at another scenario. Picture someone who does everything right, perfectly by the book. She goes to bed early, she strictly follows a healthy nighttime routine. No screens before bed, maybe even some chamomile tea. But she still wakes up tired most mornings. Why? Well, when she finally decided to track her actual nighttime thoughts, she discovered something incredibly disruptive happening right as she closed her eyes. The second her head hits the pillow, her brain launches into this crazy cascade. First, it meticulously reviews the entire day that just happened. Then it starts rigorously planning tomorrow's schedule, and finally, it begins imagining possible future problems just to solve them in advance. Right at the exact moment she needs to power down, her mind turns into a hyper-efficient problem-solving machine. Because her brain is stuck in this intense problem-solving loop, she enters what researchers call the half-active brain state. Her body is essentially paralyzed in sleep, but her mind is still partially awake, working through issues. Being stuck in this half-active state severely reduces the time spent in the deep, restorative sleep phases that actually repair fatigue. And modern life acts as a massive amplifier for this. The modern balancing act requires women to flawlessly juggle all these roles simultaneously, crushing professional responsibilities, handling primary caregiving duties, providing deep emotional support to their networks, managing household planning, and keeping up with endless social expectations. It is an impossible, never-ending list. Because of this constant juggling act, your biology literally responds. The brain actually adapts to stay alert. It learns over years of habit that something, somewhere, might always need attention, so it just stops dropping its guard. Over time, this hypervigilance creates a profound, silent form of exhaustion. It's a deeply rooted fatigue that a simple nap or a weekend sleep-in simply cannot fix. So here's the crucial reality of this explainer. We have this cultural myth of sleep as full restoration, the ideal scenario where you close your eyes and your mind powers down like a laptop. But the reality for the female brain is sleep as incomplete recovery. The mind continues to process, plan, and protect while the body rests. Women don't necessarily just need more hours of sleep. They need strategies and environments that actually allow the mind to safely and truly power down. The insights we're unpacking in this explainer are drawn from the fantastic source material provided by Hidden Human Studio. If you want to uncover more deep patterns of human behavior, emotions, and the hidden science of how our minds actually work, I highly recommend checking out their work to dive even deeper into the psychology we've discussed today. I want to wrap up our explainer today by leaving you with one final, pretty provocative thought. If the female brain is constantly managing invisible responsibilities, processing complex emotions, and staying half awake to solve tomorrow's problems, what does true mental silence actually feel like? Have you ever experienced it? I'm going to let that question linger. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope this provided some clarity on your own mental energy.